I'm going to present a company worth of battle mechs for Innisphere for you.
Ooh.
And we're going to discuss which one is your ride.
Oh, right. Swoosh.
But before I do that, consider subscribing, press the bell.
Okay.
What I thought we'd do is pick 3 of the so Countless Games Labs, as you know, have made their Lance packs. And they have
Yes, they're
the star
very
packs
cool.
for the for the clans, things like that. So what I thought I'd do is I'd pick 3 together to make a company. We'll talk about each of the boxes, each of the lances, and then I will get you to pick your ride out of each of those lances.
Wow.
So we're putting a company together, but you sort of need to think about where you would like to be the most.
Yeah.
Okay. So the choices that we're going to be going through here. First one is the Innisphere Command Lance.
Boom. That's me.
Because, because you know why not?
Because obvious.
This is pretty good. We also have a Innisphere Direct Fire Lance.
Ooh, nice.
We'll talk about, I mean, you're probably looking at these pictures, you know which one's which.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that one there. And the last one is the Innisphere Fire Lance. Alright, so the Fire Lance and the Direct Fire Lance, different sort of purpose and things like that. But
Yeah.
that's fine, so those there, so that's that.
Oh, that's a Marauder too. Oh, wow. Holy crap, dude.
So let's start with the actual Command Lance, because the first lance that you have is essentially going to be a Command Lance.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the lance, so it's what we're putting together first. So, going back to this one, we have
Archer?
we have an Archer, we have a Marauder, we have a Valkyrie, and we have
Is that a
a Stinger.
It's a Stinger.
Marauder, Archer, Valkyrie, and Stinger.
Stinger.
Alright?
Okay. So am I picking one from each?
Picking one from each.
Okay.
Okay.
That's,
So looking at what the role of the actual lance is.
Well, the command lance is fairly easy to put together as well. It's one that doesn't really have a lot of stipulation on what you need. The only one that's better than this one for that is the support. Because the support doesn't have any stipulations. There's no requirements for a support lance at all. As long as they're supporting someone, they can count as a support lance. The command lance, I think you just have to have a couple of different particular roles. I think you have to have like one missile boat and one skirmisher or something like that. It's actually pretty cool. It's an easy one if you're trying to build formations early on.
Yeah. So we'll have a little look here out of these mechs. So what do you know about each of these designs, just off the top of your head?
The Archer is a very, very, very solid missile boat. It is not. I don't think it's the best missile boat out there, but it is the most iconic, and it is a really good missile boat.
Oh yeah.
It's got decent armor, decent movement. It's maneuverable because I think some of them have jump jets, don't they?
There's because it's been around so long. There are quite a few different variants of it. So I don't think that's
but it's a reasonable speed one. It's not going to get left behind by anybody. It's a cool mech.
It is a cool mech. It is a cool mech. So it's good to be
picking up the conversation like nothing happened.
Now, being a mercenary fan or whatever, you like to be a bit more sort of flexible. It gives you that option to be a bit more flexible. I mean, a unit's going to get what it gets on the market, but
I've gotten stuck on the Archer a lot of times. I love the Archer.
Yeah.
But the Marauder is another one that I sort of get sometimes like stuck on, but I've never had a miniature for the Marauder up until the Catalyst thing.
Yeah, well, there
I
you
never
go.
had a Marauder.
Yeah.
So it was one that I really, really liked, but it wasn't one that I'd ever really used. But that now, I think, would be very cool. With the twin PPCs, and what is it, an Act 5, the original takes?
Could be an Act 5, yeah.
I think that's
right. It was
right.
an Act 5 for the old school. Some of the new ones, they have
a laser
an
and
LB10X
stuff like that,
or something, which is quite handy. I think it was the House of Marek that had that design. I think so. Anyway, yeah. So a couple of PPCs or whatever is pretty good, but And it's got some medium lasers as well on those arms.
Yeah,
the whole
it's
pod leaning in thing is just so good.
It's a direct
really
fire killer. It is pretty cool. Yeah, so 2 PPCs, 2 medium lasers, and an AC-5.
Okay.
Fairly fast. I don't think it's got jump jets on this
It's
one.
a 4. No. Normally a 4.6, and I think 4.6 is the base speed for the Archer as well. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. So they're pretty good choices. All right. So the third one, the Valkyrie.
I love Valkyries.
Yes, yeah. No, we were talking about this one a little while ago, actually, in one of the other videos. I think we were just picking out a mech that would be suitable for something. I think it's when we were building the Lance. We're talking about what we want.
Talking about building a lance.
And this one did pop up. Now this is good. So this I believe is like either a 5.8 or a 6.9.
It'll be well, it's 86 k's an hour, so it could be either. I think it's 6.9, and I'm pretty sure it has jump jets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it does. So
this one's good. LRM 10, so being able to do some indirect fire, being
And a
able to
medium
jump,
laser.
and a medium laser.
and that's it. That's all it's got in
It's
the
only
original
40 or
configuration.
something, isn't it? 40 tons.
30.
30. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it is a bit light.
And it's 723 BV. So it's not a particularly expensive mech.
Oh,
2 million C-bills, 2.2 million C-bills,
okay.
in case you're wondering.
So it can actually support like scouting and maybe even some strike if it's supported by certain units.
If you've got like something that you're trying to move forward, but you enjoy your indirect fire and things, then fast moving indirect fire stuff is difficult to come by. That's one of the few that you can get. It's a good one for leading those sorts of units.
And the last one, because let's face it, if it's just a lance, you need to have something that's got a little bit of speed and manoeuvrability.
Yeah.
You need to know what's going on in the battlefield.
Well,
So having something like this is good. Sting is good.
Yeah, it comes through in the actual requirements for a particular command unit too, because you've got sniper, missile boat, skirmisher, or juggernaut. Out of those 4, you have to have 2 units that have one of those.
There you go.
Right, so they don't have to be the same one, but you have to have 2 units that have one of those. But you also have to have 1 unit that's either a brawler, a striker, or a scout.
Well, there you go.
And I think that's to reflect the fact that if you have a command unit, you want them to be able to keep up with various types of units. They need to be able to have a scout unit that can control the scout section of your army, sort of thing, you know. And that's a really good, I mean,
look, it's got
fast
armor,
and manoeuvrable.
Yeah, it's not as fast as like the Locust with the 6.9, but it does generally have a 6 jump.
Yeah, it's 696 in most configurations, I'm pretty sure.
And we have what, a medium
Laser and 2 machine guns.
And 2 machine, okay.
For 359 BV.
Okay, so a couple of machine guns is actually quite good. So that takes care of your infantry if they start to get in there. You've got a fast moving mech that'll come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Take care of them for you.
You remember the energy weapon one we did? The energy weapons where we had a bunch where we were just taking energy weapon things and building it up to like 2000 BV or something.
Yeah.
The Stinger was one because you can get a standard everyday Stinger. It's the 3R, I think. You can get a standard everyday Stinger at 0.0 for 868.
Okay. There you go.
So I was actually seriously considering taking a Stinger and a Wasp with 0.0 pilots as my team. And then I thought, no, I better not.
Would have been cool to see.
But that's, I mean, that is something you can definitely do. They're very, very cheap. They're very manoeuvrable. And anybody who watched our battle armor video will know what sort of damage you can do to infantry with machine guns. And that medium laser is 5 points of damage into the rear end of anything you care to jump behind, really. Especially with a 0.0 pilot.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good little mech.
All right, so we've talked about the 4. Which is your ride and why?
Honestly, personal reasons, I go with the Archer because I just get stuck on the Archer. It'd be a toss-up between the Archer and the Valkyrie for me. It depends on...
It's a big tonnage and armour difference.
It depends on what you're allowed to take for the scenario. If I've got unlimited anything, then I'll take an Archer every time. If I've got a limit on what I'm allowed to do, then I would probably take the archer for bigger units, bigger BV, bigger fights.
Yep.
Higher tonnage limits, that sort of thing. If that is condensed down, if I've got lower BV, I've got lower tonnage, I've got lower unit counts or whatever, then I might run with a Valkyrie because they're a lot cheaper.
Okay.
But they both do things that I want them to do.
So, assuming you know nothing, and they present these 4 mechs to you, what do you pick? What is your ride?
Assuming I know nothing about anything,
About the scenario?
about the scenario. Okay, I was going to say
Anything at all.
if I know nothing at all, I'd probably pick the Marauder.
Yes.
But
Well, that's a chicken walker.
that's it. They look cool. But if I know nothing about the scenario and I have no idea, I would probably take the Archer.
Right.
Just because I love indirect fire, I love LRMs, I like the Archer for the fact that it does have backup weaponry. It's got reasonable armor for a missile boat. It's not... I mean, missile boats are never heavily armored. They've always got some sort of weakness because you have to toss up the difference between having heavy armor and being able to carry a lot of missiles.
Having rear firing weapons is pretty handy as well.
It's got rear firing weapons.
It's the only one out of the group that does. And
Yep.
none of them can flip their arms. So what you got is what you got.
Can the Marauder flip his arms?
No.
Oh.
No. Because he's got upper arm actuators or something.
Yeah.
Something like
You
that.
have to be missing...
You have to be, yeah. I think your shoulders is the only thing you can...
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, he's got too many.
But that it's a cool looking mech. It does the things I want. So it's got the LRMs, which I love. It's got enough tonnage of LRM ammo to be able to swap out different doodads. It's got backup weapons to protect itself, and it's got a solid punch and kick,
Okay.
which is cool. So yeah,
All right.
I would pick the Archer.
All right. What do you think I would pick?
Personally, I think you'd pick the Marauder, but that's just me.
Okay.
What would you pick?
I won't say yet. We'll wait to the end.
Just to be ripping that up, buddy.
No, you're not.
That's your cute bandana that you got from the vet, and you're not allowed to rip it up. So don't. All right, who's next?
Right.
Direct fire.
We have the direct